Okay. So 2 weeks ago, we had a Lunar New Year event at the New York campus. I'm sure some of you were there, and we had a very good time, right? And that was actually designed based on the beginning of spring, the Li Chun solar term. And on during the Li Chun period of time, the Li Chun period, it's 15 days, and usually we do a lot of celebrations, and also, you know, we eat food that is associated with Chun, and there is a term called Yao Chun. That means we eat those green, very tender leaves to help regulate the qi in the body. And I'll talk about what Yao Chun means, and I'll give you more idea in the later presentation. And today we're going to talk about the two terms. One is Li Chun, the other one is Yu Shui. First of all, I know some of you are curious about what the 24 solar terms are. And this is actually based on the solar calendar. And we know the 365 days are divided into 24 sections. And it is created by farmers in ancient China. And it is based on the sun's position in the zodiac. The purpose of it is to guide the agricultural affairs and the farming activities, because the farming activity is heavily rely on the sun and also the climate. So the 24 solar terms reflect on the changes in the climate, natural phenomena, agricultural production, and other aspects of human life, including clothing, food, housing, and transportation. So in Chinese, it's called 衣食住行. So it's actually embedded in Chinese culture almost everywhere. You know, the empire, not the empire, the emperor practice their daily life. They organize their affairs according to the 24 solar terms. And common people and also like doctors, they also have the knowledge of 24 solar terms, and they treat their patients, or they live differently in different seasons. So the first solar term was discovered, it's not discovered, it's more of created in the Zhou dynasty. It's almost, I believe, at least 3,000 years ago. And the first term was the winter solstice. And they have a measurement tool. It's called 土龟. 土龟 is like a ruler, and it's standing on the ground. And when the sun hits the tool, and it creates a shadow on the ground. When the shadow becomes the longest, that means the angle is the angle of the sunlight is the position. It's actually the lowest, and then that day was determined as the winter solstice. And when the shadow was the shortest, that means the sun is on top of our head, then that day was determined the summer solstice. Then they further divided the whole year into 4 sections and 8 sections, and then 12 sections, then 24 solar terms are created. The 2 terms we're talking about, the first one is the beginning of spring. It's usually starting between February 3rd and 5th. It varies in different years. And for this year, it's February 4th. I'm checking my calendar. Yeah, it's a Saturday, and that's because the sun. How we determine which day is each term is we measure the sun's position. So when the sun reaches the celestial longitude 315 degree, and there's actually very accurate to the minutes and seconds. So when the time is discovered, we can tell which day is the beginning of spring in this year. And the rainwater is also 15 days, and it's gonna be February 19th in 2023. And the sun goes up, right? And the longitude is gonna be 330. So in beginning of spring, 立春, so each term actually has a lot of culture and custom background. And in China, some region, they have the activity called hit carols. That's because spring is usually the time for plowing, right? And the cattle are the main animal that we rely on to help with the agriculture. And I don't think they actually hit the cattle with, sticks or bamboo. Nowadays, I think even in the ancient time, they kind of make a cattle with mud, and that they use some tool to hit the cattle, and then the real cattle on the side, they observe, and they feel scared, and they work harder. That's how they kind of created this tradition. And in Lichun, we also so I'm missing a letter. It's bite chun, bite. So in Chinese, it's called yao chun, means you're kind of chewing or bite. Chun, but the chun means it refers to the spring pancake, which I'll show you later. So spring in general is associated with a lot of things, and we've learned this in Chinese medicine classes, and it's associated with the wood element. And it's not my personal opinion, but I've heard some teachers talk about the wood. It was translated to wood, but wood, wood sometimes it's dead wood, right? It's not a tree. If it's alive, it should be a tree. But if we observe the nature, the wood element should be able to bend and stretch, right? So that's only a live tree is able to do. And in Chinese, the wood character actually means a tree. So I just bring that up, but I'm not making any conclusion here. The wood element is associated with the liver and gallbladder, and the season of the what's the category? Anyway, it's the wind, right? And the wind is very dominant in the spring, and we all know that wind is the origin of 100 diseases. It's not actually 100. That means a lot of diseases. When Chinese say 百, 100, the word it means a lot. It's in big amount. The spring is also the time of renewal and rebirth. So it's better to practice growing birds, not to kill things. right? So that's why eating meats are discouraged in the springtime. We could talk about sex. So usually in the winter time, you know, in the in the spring uh, we we birth, we give birth, and in the summertime we grow, right? And the autumn, the fall, we harvest, we astringent, and in the summer, no, in the winter time, we store things, right? We conserve things. So in terms of sex, it's disencouraged in the winter time because you want to conserve your essence. However, in the spring, it's actually encouraged. Yeah, it can be engaged in more frequently without depleting the body's reserves, and a man can have more frequent ejaculation without depleting their energy and essence. Yeah, when I was preparing this presentation, I found this, and I thought that was very interesting to share. Okay. Next. So from in the Huangdi Neijing, chapter 2, the I think it's called I forgot the name of the chapter, but it talked about the 4 seasons. So in the 3 months of the spring, one should rest at night and get up early, stride freely through the courtyard, let your hair down, which I have already seen in Michael, right? And indulge in the leisurely feeling of a morning stroll. This is how you should raise your spirits in spring. Foster all life and do not kill. Be generous and agreeable. Give freely and do not punish. This is a way of honoring the qi of spring and nourishing life during the season. Going against these characteristics of the seasonal flow will have harmful effects on the liver network. So there are some key herbs and formulas. If you are not in the herbal program, you know, you don't have to memorize these, but it's good for reference. He shou wu is an herb that tonifies liver and kidney. There are 2 forms of he shou. One is raw, the other one is zhi. Zhi he shou wu means processed. The Zhi he shou wu also nourishes the blood and nourish Jin, expel wind from the skin by nourish the blood. The other one is Tianma, which I've seen a lot in cooking when they, you know, cook steamed fish, and it calms the liver to distinguish wind. You know, because the wind in the environment is very, very, very common, and it's better to protect your body from the wind by eating those distinguished wind herb. And Yu Ping Feng San is also a good formula. You can also make a tea out of these 3 herbs: Fang Feng, Huang Qi, and Bai Zhu. The spring is the season of the liver and the gallbladder, and in I Ching, the hexagram, you will notice that it's switching from Lin to Tai. And Tai in Chinese means peace, calm, and tranquility. There are 6 lines. The top 3 are the yin lines, and the bottom 3 are yang lines. While yin is above and yang is below, that's actually in peace, because when the yin is up, it goes down. When the yang is down, it goes up. So that creates a circle. So it's moving. It makes things move So that's what we call harmony. There are ways to observe the 24 solar terms, and the term is called 72候. In English is 72 pentats. Pentats means 5 days, or that means pen means 5. So there are always 3 pentats in each terms. So 3 times 5 is 15. So because each term is 15 days long. And the idea of the pentats are they're basically biological or botanical phenomenological phenomena, and which I'll give you some examples later. And let's figure out the math first. And Chibo says 5 days is named Hou, the fourth tone. That's called one phenology, and 3 holes is named Qi. So we know the 24 solar terms is also called Jie Qi. So 3 holes is 1 Qi. That means there are 24 Qis, right? And 6 Qi is named season. So we have 4 seasons, right? And each season has 6 Qis. And today we are, talking about the first 2 Qis in the spring season. And 4 seasons is called is named year, and each of them follows what is responsible for governing it. So this is the Li Chun, the beginning of spring. There are 3 pentats. The first one is east wind thaw. That means when the temperature is getting higher, the east direction is associated with the wood, and the wood generates fire. So when the air is warm, it causes ice to thaw. When you observe the ice is breaking down, that means the temperature is going up. And that's one of the signs of spring, the beginning of spring. And the second pentat is hibernating insects awaken, which I've already seen in my pots. Even though the plants are still not growing very well, but the insects, the buds are already moving. And the third is fish swim upward near ice. It looks like the fish is carrying the ice in the water. It's also called 鱼上冰 or 鱼负冰. Fu means carrying. It's putting something on the shoulder. Okay. The next 3 pentats is associated with rainwater, 雨水. The first is called 塔鲫鱼. Ta is otter, and they're making offerings of fish. They're like worshiping or something. They kind of appreciate the fish. The second one is the wild geese arrive. The third one is trees and grass before shoots. And also because of that, we need to eat some shoots. And I will talk about it in the later section when we talk about food. Okay. now we're talking about food. So spring cake, which we mentioned earlier, it's a tradition in China, and it actually started in Wei and Jin dynasties. And traditionally, it's made of 5 different spicy ingredients. They're garlic, scallion, garlic chives, rape leaves, and cilantro. So those ingredients, those grains are very spicy, and it has a pungent taste, and also because of the pungent acrid taste, that kind of help regulate the qi in the body from the deep inside to the surface of the body. Yeah, so in ancient time, it's also called spring dish, called 春盘. And nowadays, you can not only just eating those 5 spices, you could be creative. You could add onion or anything else, and you could add like lettuce or radish. Radish is also very pungent, and you could also add sorry, I need to charge my laptop. You could also add some meats like duck meats or some sauce. Okay, next page. So since we talked about the liver, and there are some ways we could tell whether our liver is functioning well. You know, liver is we can tell from our nails, from our eyes, because the liver opens at our eyes, and also liver governs the sinew. So, you know, if you can do a test now with me, you can press your nails and hold it for 20 seconds and release, and see if you have the color of the redness. If it's very pale, that means your blood is not circulating properly to the fingers, and that's associated with the liver blood. And the spirit of the liver is called Hun. Hun is very important for sleeping, and are you know, you can tell whether you have trouble falling asleep or wake up very early. That tells us whether your liver blood is regulating properly. So when we are sleeping, the blood should go back to the liver to, you know, to store in the liver. If the liver has trouble collecting those blood, you might not be able to fall asleep very easily. And if you wake up early, that means your liver wasn't able to collect these blood, and also it sends blood out very early. It starts working. So that's why you wake up very early. And by, you know, observing your sleep quality, you can tell whether your liver is good. Also, if we have blurry vision or any redness or dry eyes, itchy eyes, that's also something to do with the liver. And in my practice, I've seen a lot of patients with tight shoulders and neck. Sometimes they also get spasm. That's a liver issue. In emotion, a lot of people cannot, they become very irritated, or they have anger. That means the liver is very overactive. And for some reason, there are also people have depression. That's also because the liver is deficient, actually. So that the depression is happening because liver sometimes you can correct it with pungent food to help the qi to regulate out of the liver. Okay. So the principle of the health principle of Li Chun is to promote yang qi, to promote the flow of qi of the liver. And the flavor of liver wood is sour, which can overcome earth, which is the dynamic element governing the spleen, which in turn is influenced by sweet flavor. In spring, therefore, one should eat less sour food and increase one's intake of mildly sweet foods to nourish spring qi. Sour is associated with liver. However, it not disperse. It kind of it is dispersed. It's not the same disperse that we talk when we are talking about promoting yang qi. It's the opposite of tonifying. So if you want to tonify liver, you want to eat spicy food because that's pushing the liver to work harder to kind of what's the word? Kind of maximize the function of liver. However, if you eat sour food, it's dispersing. It's kind of, okay, liver, you should stop working like that. When somebody is has too much anger, and it's probably the time to prescribe sour food. And the principle for the rainwater, because the nature of rainwater, by its name, is humid and cold. And there is a term called Dao Chun Han. That means it's like reversing spring cold. That means even though you're spring and the temperature rise up, but still there are a period of time the temperature drops, and that's called Dao Chun Han. So that's around the rainwater time. And what's important is to harmonize spring and stomach. In English, it's called a late spring coldness, Dao Chun Han. So that's the time you want to eat more soup and congee, those warm food. So avoid cold food, raw food, and spicy food, and alcohol in general. That's the spring practice. Food for good liver and spleen. So to nourish liver qi and blood, you could add animal tendons like pork tendon, beef tendon, even deer tendon. I know it's not very accessible or available here, but why is it good? If you look at the character on the right side of the screen, it's the word for dust. It's the traditional character of dust, chen. So when the deer ran through the ground at the field, the dust goes up, right? And usually when not all animal can do that, but deer can make it very dramatically because its tendon is very strong. So that character has a deer character in it. And the bottom, the three strikes are the earth, the dust. But the top one is the deer character. Just put it out there. And also eating liver is good for the liver. If you want to astringe the liver, meaning if your liver is overactive, and you could add a lotus seeds, preserved plum or plum candy. Those are sour, so that can help the liver qi to come back. And disperse the liver qi. This is not the opposite of a tonifying. It's more of the regulating or promoting liver qi. So adding cinnamon, ginger, perilla, those are acrid, pungent, so that can help to regulate liver qi. Sweet and this I think it's acrid, not acid. Yeah. So jujube dates, tangerine, honey, peanuts, cilantro, chives. Those are sweet and acrid. Tonify qi and blood, you could use yiren. It's also called Job's tears. And for liver qi deficiency, which I think I forgot to add it to the slides. If you want to avoid liver fire, you need to avoid lamb. Usually lamb are very common food in China for the winter season. And that's actually very warm. And it's not good for the liver if you have liver fire. So I'm going to talk about 2-3 different vegetables. This is actually it's like a weed in both China and America. You can find these on the field or on the road walk side. This is called a shepherd's purse, in Chinese called Jie cai. It's sweet and bland in nature. It harmonizes the spleen, promote urination, improve eyesight. The old text says it also help disperse liver qi. It clears fetal toxin in babies. So, if the mother is breastfeeding, she could use, for baby, if you observe they have cradle cap, that's a manifestation of fetal toxin, or they have rash, that's also a fetal toxin. So you could add Jie cai, the fresh juice, to the mix with the mother's milk, breast milk, to have the baby to drink. So usually that will help with that. Shepherd's purse also reduce edema. It cools blood and stop bleeding, especially for the hypertension, irritation, and nose bleeding. It's also, if you cook with imperata, in Chinese called bai mao gen, it's an herb that stops bleeding. If you boil these 2 herbs in, apparently you need to use fresh shepherd's purse. You add these 2 ingredients in the water and boil it, and then you feed the children with a fever, with convulsion. It's very helpful. And it also arouses people's appetite, eliminates food stagnation. Like chenpi, right? Okay. And bamboo shoots. Bamboo shoots are very interesting. So in the winter, there are, in Chinese, there are spring bamboo shoots and winter bamboo shoots, one called chun sun, the other one called dong sun. And the winter, they are actually the same plant, and they are just harvested in different times. And the winter bamboo shoots are usually underground, and you need to dig it out before it shoots up. So as long as it shoots up, it's called chun sun. It's called spring bamboo shoots, and they taste differently, and they have different energy. So it's even though it's the same plant, maybe the same from the same plant, it's different. And we all know that bamboo is a, like juru, and what else? There are some herbs are from bamboo. If you learn Chinese herbology. Last one is cilantro. Cilantro is it's an herb also in Western culture, and actually in China we cook it as we cook vegetables. It's a worm. It's a worm herb. It's worm in nature, and it enters the heart and the spleen. And also, I think it also help ventilate what is called, I forgot the name, but like rash. It's not, it stays on under the skin, but with the help from cilantro, it can help it ventilate. After we talk about the food, we want to cover some knowledge on the points. So because the wind is very dominant in winter, in the spring, sorry. And in our body, there are a lot of points have the wind character or the wind idea in their names. So in Chinese, the GB20 is called Feng Chi, wind pull. It's under our in the back of the neck. Do 16, the wing mention Feng Fu, bladder 12, wing gate, Feng Meng, wing market, GB 31, Feng Shi. Feng Shi is the only wing point on the legs. In Ba Feng, 8 winds. In Bing Feng, grasping the wind. There is a book called Grasping the Wind. It's an explanation of all the acupuncture points name. And windscreen, which is under behind our ears. So I know many of you are very familiar with the functions of these points, so I'm not gonna repeat these. But I want to mention is the wind gate. The wind gate is where the wind enters the body. It's not in the neck. It's under the do 14, right, on the bladder channel. So when we use scarf to cover our neck to protect ourselves from wind, definitely protect that area. And if the wind goes into the body and stays in the neck, usually they stay at the GB20 and do 16. So that's why they have a different, have the gate and then the mansion and the pool. Usually the pool is that means it's the biggest area. I would say mansion probably smaller than the pool. Okay, let's talk about a combing therapy. So we know the head of the body is the most young part. It's not only because it's the top, it's the most top part of the body. Also, the yang channel goes to the 6th yang channel goes to the head. So by using calm, you could stimulate the head, and the scalp is can be viewed as a microsystem of the entire body. We use our ears to treat the whole body. We use our hands, our belly, or the bottom of the feet the scalp, also there's a separate acupuncture system. It's called scalp acupuncture. It can treat almost everything by just treating the head, the scalp. So by stimulating the channel on the scalp, that helps mobilize qi and blood in the entire body. Usually, we recommend you use a comb made of horn or wood. It's better not to use metal or like crystal, because that's very dispersing, and we want it just to regulate it. So use a very thick teeth to massage your scalp. You could start from the front to the rear and goes from the side of the neck to the front. You can make a circle like this and do 200 strokes. You could do it every day in the springtime.
Could you use your fingers in lieu of a device? Or
yes.
But
finger is a good alternative. Yeah, for sure. Other device, I'm not sure which one you are referring to, but as long as it's like soothing, it's all good. Moxibustion. Stomach 36 is a very common, very big point. And why I want to emphasize this is do the moxa on stomach 36 throughout the 15 days period of the beginning of spring. Also on beginning of the summer, beginning of the autumn, and beginning of the winter. So that's the time the season is shifting. And, there are 5 seasons. The one, the 春夏秋冬, the other one is 长夏. 长夏, I think it's called Doyo, right? Doyo is the earth element, and which is associated with our digestive system. And the stomach 36 is one of the biggest point of the stomach channel for spleen and stomach harmonizing. Okay. Here are some points for nourishing the liver. Central 5, liver 14, in the ribs, bladder for 18, the liver shu, stomach 36, liver 3, and liver 2. Liver 2 is to clear the fire or the heat in the liver. You could also practice rubbing the helix. The helix is, I don't know if you can see me, but it's, if you study points maybe 4, yeah, the ear auricular, you will know what helix is, and rub the helix of the ear. That helps regulate the liver. And massage the hypothenar eminence. This is the thenar eminence. This is the back, on the SIA channel on the hand. It's the hypothenar eminence. You can massage it, or you can rub, you can hit, like this. And massage the liver, the organ, in clockwise motion. And that's also very important. Okay. And massage to fortify spleen in the stomach, which I think you could practice during the rainwater time. Use Ren 12, stomach 25, do 9. Do 9 is called Zhi Yang. It's in the back. Bladder 20, the Pi Shu. To help with the digestion, you could also massage your belly in clockwise motion. And we talked about depression. It's a form of, it's a manifestation of liver qi deficiency. I don't think we have the pattern in the textbooks, but it's existing. Do 20 tai yang to lift up the qi, GB21, heart 7 and heart 9. Rub the ear between run 17 and run 8. And then you can just put it, push it down and rub it both directions. Yep. Okay, I think this is the last page before we close. So I encourage everybody sit on a chair or on the ground, on the floor, and or you don't even have to cross your legs. You can close your eyes. I'm gonna read this to you, and we can practice. Okay, so find a position you feel the most comfortable, and rest your palms on the left thigh. And the left hand is on top of the right. Inhale and turn the head to look left. So as you turn your head, imagine that you're not just turning your head, you're turning your spine, and the whole spine is turning and it's following your neck. As you inhale, feel the whole torso, neck, spine filling with clear qi and breath. Exhale, turn to face front. As you turn the head, relax the neck. Feel the whole spine rotating. The head does not move independently. As you exhale, imagine stale, poisonous qi and air leaving the body. Okay, repeat to the other side. Inhale, turn your head and neck. Feel the whole spine is turning. Each vertebra is following the neck. Exhale. Turn your head to the front. Rotating your spine to the original position. Okay. Once. Okay, you can repeat this 36 times. And gently knock the teeth. Then gather saliva by circling the tongue around the outside of the teeth 9 times in each direction. Circle the tongue around the inside of the mouth and swallow the saliva in 3 portions. 1, 2, 3. Okay, open your eyes. Thank you. How's everybody feeling? Good. Okay, so this practice.
Can I share something?
Yes, please.
Yeah, as we were doing the exercise and turning the head, I noticed you can say chi or like, but I noticed movement where, because earlier I had something stuck kind of in my spine, but I saw like it was slowly descending as I was twisting back and forth. I noticed that whatever little stagnant pain I had there is now like released because of the exercise we just did. So I just wanted to share that.
Yeah, I think the key of this practice is when you turn your neck, you're turning your spine. And if we do this, you know, not paying attention, we just turn our neck like this, right? It's like doing physical therapy. I always, complain about physical therapy. They don't, really understand how the body is working. It's very mechanical, right? But turning your spine, the whole body is doing movement, right? And this particular movement is good for obstruction due to wind diseases, pain in the neck and shoulder, back, and elbow and arm. Okay. And the next one is for rainwater.
Quick question about the saliva element.
Yeah. Yes.
That's how you close the practice after you've turned 36 times. Okay. Thank you.
And we talked about we included the saliva practice in our last presentation for the gray code and minor code. Yeah, it's I can share the slides later in our group, and that's a Taoism practice. It's a way for us to, we always think about, nourishing the yin is very hard because it's it's a physical thing. It's very hard if someone is not absorbing food properly. It's hard to build up yin, but actually swallowing or practicing saliva swallowing, it's a way to nourish yin. And also it's good for promoting longevity in a Taoism perspective. Okay, now the second movement, I'm gonna let everybody. Yes, Angela.
Before we go on, so is this the same for phlegm? For example, like when you cough up phlegm, should you swallow it or should you spit it out?
No. Why we produce phlegm? It's a pathogenic factor that we store in the body. It's because of the weakness of the spleen, but the lung stores it, right? The lung is the container of phlegm, but it's rooted in the weakness of spleen. It's actually a pathogenic factor. We call it evil, right? So we definitely don't want to swallow it, and it's not generate consciously, right? We collect saliva consciously, but the phlegm is generate. It's something we want to expel, and it actually can hold a lot of from the Western medicine perspective, a lot of kind of bacteria or virus could be in the phlegm. So you definitely want to, get rid of it. It's like sneezing. Sneezing is a way of when the body sends external pathogen, you want to push it out. You don't want it to get in. So when you form phlegm, it's creating a medium for the pathogen to get out. So definitely, let it go. So I'll leave rainwater qigong for you to practice on your own. Okay. And also because rainwater is not here yet, it hasn't arrived. It's gonna be in 5 days. It's this Sunday, so you can practice starting Sunday. And this is a recipe of a tea, a treasure ba bao cha. We have what's called a treasure. I forgot the formula's name. 8 treasures, right? 八珍汤, yeah. This is, I think it's not called 八珍茶, it's called 八宝茶. So you could use green tea. This is from the Tom Bissio's book. I think some translation is messed up. So the second one, a chrysanthemum flower, it's actually Juhua, but the character says it's Hongcha, so which is wrong. But well, it doesn't really matter because the Juhua, the pinyin is correct. So jujube dates, goji, goji berry, and bai mu'er, tremolo, the white fungus, and jinyinhua, honeysuckle flower, 玫瑰花, rose flower buds, and also 太子参. 太子参 is in the qi, tonifying qi category. It's an herb. So you could add these 8 ingredients in boiled water and soak for like 10 minutes, and then you can drink the tea and then refill with hot water, boiled water, and then you can drink throughout the day. And that's gonna be your homework. If you make the tea, take a photo, send it to our WhatsApp group or on Instagram and tag, Dao of Life program. All right, this is the last slide. We're gonna share a quiz because the program is to, we wanna do some evaluation. Those quiz each has 10 questions. They're very simple, very straightforward. And if you don't know the answer, you can look up online, you can ask me, but just make fun of it. And that I hope everybody can do it, because at the end of the program, we will submit the report to our sponsors, and we are hoping to get grants, fundings for the future programs. So that's very important. Secondly, practice rainwater qigong, and the third homework is making spring 8 treasure tea. You can make a video, you can take photos, just share with us how you feel and how you like them. Okay. And those are the resources. You can get the book and read the chapters before each class. And there's a documentary called Seasons of China. You can find it on YouTube, which I also shared in the WhatsApp group earlier. So it's very interesting. Yeah. So I hope everybody enjoyed it. Yeah, thank you, Zoey, for sharing the form. You can also scan the QR code here to fill out the survey. That also serves the purpose to help us, collect information, feedbacks to develop our program and also report to our sponsors. Thank you for your support. If you are interested in joining in the program, we still have some, spots available. We're trying to keep the group small so we can, have more conversation. We can practice together and try our best to meet everybody's needs and answer questions. If you wanted to apply, you can go to our Instagram, Dao of Life 24ST, and you will find the link in the bio, and the link directs you to Linktree, and you will find the overview of the program. You will find the registration form. Okay, and you can submit the form. Once we receive it, we will get back to you in a couple of weeks, no, a couple of days, right? Yeah, and it's free for BCom students, and we but not, so this is your opportunity when you are in school, you can, attend free classes. And hopefully our next workshop, I'm gonna stop sharing and, make an announcement. Stop.